welcome, welcome, welcome. Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, cats and dogs. Doesn't age so well. Children of all ages, you know who it is. It is the kid, Unc Just, the pizza freak, always resonating at that pizza frequency. And what is that pizza frequency? It means that I love talking about pizza, I love making pizza, but mostly I love sharing pizza with mother stinkers that I give a ship about. Yes, literally breaking bread with people that I care about. And I have a sneaking suspicion that you too, my friends, also resonate at said pizza frequency. Or why else would you be here? And where is here? Here we are, our first open house of 2024. That's right. Slow Rise Open House for 2024. Big things. We've been rocking and rolling for a long time now. Different series of different classes, since really back pre-pandemo, as it were. Different classes all over in person, and then we had to move to on Zoom, and then we did a bunch of beginner, intermediate, advanced. And then we did a bunch of collabs with different chefs and all this stuff. And now we are coming into a big phase 3. And we are excited, very excited, to have you here with us today. And we will be discussing a pizza path forward. That's right. You heard it here first. This is a pizza path forward for 2024, and we are really excited to have some good friends with us this afternoon. We've got Kim from King Arthur that will be joining us in a little bit, and we're going to be talking about, sorry if I skewer this just a little bit, regeneratively grown flowers. I think I said it right. I hope I said it right. And that basically means that we're not taking as much from the soil, so we can keep the vitamins and minerals and nutrients in the soil that gets back into our food, in our grain, in the line, as it were. So it makes it into our body. So what we're putting into our bodies aren't just empty, nothing calories and so forth. Although they are delicious, maybe they're not the best for us. And then we're going to have Debbie from Hayden Mills, which is really exciting because in the upcoming classes and events that we're going to be doing, we're going to be using a lot of different flowers. So we're going to be talking to her, and both King Arthur and Hayden Mills will be offering, I believe, a little bit of a discount on some of the flowers for the upcoming classes that we're going to be presenting. And then Noel on site up north in Portland somewhere on some island. We're going to be talking to one of our old friends, Josh, Fermentation Confidential, I believe, your buddy and mine, about what he's doing up there and how things are going. So without any really further to do, now that everybody's rolling in, I'm going to bring Noel on. You know the deal. You know the deal. You know how we do it. I'm going to blue bell him. And I know that if anyone has been to our office hours within the past 9 months, let's say, we had the blue bell in sight only, but no sound. So I went into those Zoom settings, and I think we were able to find the right settings. So Noel, if you're there, Mr. Slow Rise, why don't you come on down? I'm a blue bell you. Huh? Huh? Did it work? Is the blue bell back?
It's back.
Ah, oh, Zoom. Zoom was trying to outsmart us, but not today. Not September 14, 2024.
Not so fast, Justin, because we have a history of outsmarting ourselves.
I always outsmart myself.
Yes,
that's just how it goes. That's just how it goes.
Well, let's go over that. Let's go over that, Justin. What are you going to ask me where I am?
Yeah, I want to know where you are.
Where do you think I am?
This is not you're at Ladybug Pizza. LBP, huh? My goodness. That's pretty fantastic. Who did that mural behind you?
Did you say LD? Did you say LDP?
No, I said LB.
Oh,
Ladybug.
sorry.
No. You say we do not. We don't. We're trying to stay away from LDP. Let's keep this PG. Let's keep this PG, please. This is gonna live forever, ad infinitum, on the tubes of you, I believe.
Tubes of you.
The
I like
tubes of
it.
you. The tubes of you. Not to be confused with the hallways of always. Where are you? What's going on with that mural? This is awesome. On site.
I am on site. I'm not wearing my apron. I'm not
Mm-mm,
standing in my kitchen. I'm sitting
mm-mm.
down in a pizzeria.
I'm almost missing the double refrigerators a little bit.
You are. Well,
I
we have more than a few refrigerators here. I have my Zoom settings set up so that we cannot hear the buzzing. There's dough being mixed. There's a lot of I'm on Orcas Island, so there's flies buzzing around and lots of trees and fresh air and
so what?
nature. And
Tell us a little bit.
there's a lake, a giant lake that my wife is going to swim into on Sunday for the big swim run. There's a lot going on here.
So
There's professional athletes descending upon Orcas Island right
let's
now.
talk about where Orcas Island, for those that don't know, is where. Where is it?
So if you are like me, you fly to Seattle,
Mm-hmm.
you hang out in Seattle for a while, do the things that people do. We'll discuss that later.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can either take a prop plane or a ferry. We took a ferry with a bunch of triathletes. I am not a triathlete. My wife is not a triathlete. She's a multi-sport athlete, but not a triathlete.
Mm-hmm.
She's a biathlete.
Mm-hmm.
So we're here to do a swim run. I'm just a cheerleader, and I thought while I was here, since we had this Zoom scheduled, that I would hang out with Josh Hernandez, Chef Josh,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
who worked with us a bunch. I met him at Bestia in Los Angeles. He was on the line doing great things with pizza, sourdough pizza. And then he worked with me for over a year doing consulting. He appeared on some of these crazy Zooms that we were doing. In the future, we're going to do a collab with him because he now has a restaurant here on Orcas Island called Ladybug
Wow.
that is absolutely killing it. It is doing so well. I'm really, really excited to be here. Last night I had dinner here, and we had a straight up cheese. We had a mostly pineapple pizza.
Oh wow. Wow.
Mostly,
Really
mostly,
pushing it.
mostly pineapple.
Now, can I ask what style?
I would call it a New York style 2.0. 2.0.
Okay. New York 2.0. Okay.
Yeah.
So can I ask what kind of ovens are they using?
So they got an old Marsal well, I wouldn't say that I advised toward the Marsal, but I am a big fan of the Marsal, and I love the old ones because I feel like a lot of the old technology, when it was dialed in, right, is the best. So they got an old Marsal and they're killing it.
You know the deal. It's like my sweet silver Saturn. Didn't have any bells and whistles, but baby,
Mm-hmm.
could get the job done. So I
You
think
know
a lot
me.
of things. I think a lot of things these days are just over-engineered a little bit, so they're more pieces to break down. So that's good. So can I ask? Have you been working with Josh on his pizza dough up there, this New York 2.0-ish a little
No,
bit? Or
it depends. I mean, no, it is like all the people that I work with, the chefs are the true creators of the dough. I think that when Josh worked at Bestia, I helped Chef Ori with his pizza, which is 100% Ori's pizza, but it is a pizza that used 00 flour. It used some whole grain flour. It was a high hydration, naturally fermented dough made in a wood-fired oven with longer than normal or longer than would be considered traditional fermentation. And it was very, very, very well conceived, and the bake was intense.
yeah.
The ingredients were incredibly well sourced. Every aspect of the pizza was chefified in the best way. Chef Ori is the man.
Yeah.
So anyway, I met Josh at Bestia, and we worked together. So he knows all of our recipes. He knows all of our techniques. So he chose one of our recipes, and he chose one of our super basic techniques, and he did what chefs do. He made it his own.
That grow and expand on it.
Yeah. So last night I had what most people just think of as a good New York pizza, but different from some of the pizza you'd find in New York. It was extremely light. It was intensely crispy.
Mm.
It had not one, not two, not three, but probably 5 different shades of brown. And you
Oh,
know
wow.
me, I have
Yeah.
a minimum of 3 shades.
Yeah, like everything these days, a little bit of a spectrum goes a long way. Am I
A
right?
little, I couldn't have said it better.
Wow.
Also, we had a cheese. We had kind of a meat lovers and veggie
Mm.
lovers combo.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
We had the sort of Hawaiian,
Mm-hmm.
and then they had the special, which is a banya cauda pizza with some a little extra umami.
Ooh,
As if banya cauda wasn't umami enough. So this is a vegan banya cauda. So
interesting.
we'll let Chef Jed and Chef Josh get into that later.
Great.
We'll do a tour of the pizzeria.
Awesome.
Josh,
Awesome.
hopefully Josh is sleeping right now, but
Mm-hmm.
hopefully he'll be coming on with us
Because
around the.
you guys were keeping them out partying a little late last night,
No,
evidently.
no, 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 no.
Sure, sure,
This is
sure.
so we're past peak season here. So this pizzeria opens for lunch, I think, at 11,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they close at 7. How
Oh,
about
wow.
that?
Okay.
It's
So,
island time.
last question
Yeah.
before we move on to what's coming up next here in the slow rise emporium of, pizza prowess. Um, being the fact that it's up north, right? Being the fact that it's on an island, a lot of times we talk about time and temps in our recipes and stuff like that because the ambient temp is probably a little bit colder. What's your just real quick? Just give me a little strict pitch on how that maybe helps or hurts the process of making dough in that climate.
Well, so Josh is really good at using the right amount of yeast, right? As my professors in at French Culinary used to say, as much as you need, but as little as possible.
Hmm. Hmm.
So Josh is a subscriber to that theory, at least. And so, like this morning, it's in the 60s, and that's actually perfect for dough. So what's wonderful is
Hmm.
that the dough is already out and it's sitting. It was made yesterday and a little bit the day before, so it's a pretty short fermentation. They don't have a lot of room here.
Well, right.
They don't have a lot of room. I'm looking at all their dough refrigeration, and it ain't much. And they're a high volume pizzeria on a
Hmm.
tiny little island, but what
Average size, we say.
average size island. So yeah. So but there's a couple hundred extra people, maybe I think 500 competing in this swim run, and I think it's the end of the tourist season. But there's a lot of the ferry was full yesterday, so a lot of people coming from Seattle and Washington State. For just a nice long weekend. I mean, the
Nice.
coffee place across the street is like, what's it
Bumping.
called? Brown Bear Baking. There's a long, long, long line. So
Well,
it's a great, it's a great community. It's
you
a
better
great
get those
community.
pizzas ready because people want to be carb loading for the race, swim,
Yeah.
cycle, whatever else is coming. So,
That said, hold on. Last thing, one of
yeah.
the things that I love, and he's crediting me for it, but I don't want to take the credit, is that it's a very stark kind of minimally dressed pizza, and the dough is really the star here. And so, like that first bagna cauda pizza came out, that white pie, and
Mhm.
it was so crispy, so crunchy, no tip sag, perfect. You could taste every ingredient, less is more kind of thing. And then the cheese was a sloppy mess. I'm just kidding.
Good, good, good. Oh, okay.
Sloppy mess.
But
Just
see,
kidding.
that's the thing about pizza. It's the sum of its parts, right? The toppings we say are often, condiments, but it's really about that found-day dough. You don't have a solid foundation. How can you build upon it, whether it be people or pizza? And that brings us to what's coming up next. What kind of foundation are we building for phase 3 of this slow rise pizza passion project progressive? This is the pizza path forward. No, what are we doing? We're going to
Justin,
save.
I'm just going to mute and turn off my video and let you run the rest of this thing because
we're
you're on
going
a
to
roll today.
we're going to
You're on
say,
a Kaiser roll.
yeah, I just had my second cup
I
of
want to put
coffee.
you on a Kaiser roll and eat you, my friend.
Yeah, darn right. You better put a little smear on there before
I
you
will.
do. All right,
I
talk to me
will.
about this pizza path forward.
Good.
What are we doing? How are we going to save? How are we going to save the earth one slice at a time, Noel?
That's a good question. I don't have the answer to it. I really don't. But I like to live in the wonder of what might be.
The possibilities of the pies.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. So here's what I'm thinking. Phase one was me and you. The Pizza Expo gets canceled. March 2020, we're like, no way. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're going to have the Pizza Expo in my living room. We're going to bring a bunch of chefs. We're going to bring a bunch of pizza fans in. We raised a bunch of money for Slice Out Hunger. And we
Scott Wiener.
launched phase one of our classes. And that was over a year of beginning, intermediate, and advanced classes, 6 classes a week. Tuesday, Wednesday, beginner 1. Thursday, Friday, beginner 1. Every Saturday, intermediate 1. Every Sunday, advanced 1. Again and again and again and again. So that was pretty awesome. And then we got tired of that. And then we thought, what could we do? And I know, instead of Zoom pizza classes, how about Zoom pizza collabs?
Which meant what?
Well, I reached out to my favorite artisan bread and pizza makers from across the world, and I collaborated with them on 30 some odd classes. And every week, we would have at least one class where we would collaborate with, all my favorite people from around the pizza and bread universe. So that took up the better part of 2 years.
It did.
Right? We didn't do it every week because we, as the world got back to normal again, whatever that is, cats and dogs,
Yeah. Cats and dogs living together.
I got back to pizza consulting, and you got back to acting. We'll get into that later, Justin. I know you got a big announcement. Come on.
We'll see.
Big announcement.
We don't count our ducks until they dance. Our ducks until they dance.
So Zoom Pizza Collab was 2021, 2022. And then 2023, I was like, I'm not getting back on Zoom anymore, except to do office hours with you. Mm-hmm. Once a month only. We were doing them once a week for a while, right?
We were. That was too much. I feel like there was, like, as you said, the ebb of people that were taking the classes, the on-demand classes that we had. We really want to engage. We really want to engage with the community. We ask people to participate. Come to us with your questions so we can build, like I said, that foundation. We need a stronger pizza community where there are no secrets. It's really explaining the technique and the methods and the recipe and figuring out the variables in your pizza equation. So we basically donate our time online on Zoom once a month so people can come to us with their pressing pizza predicaments.
Yeah. So while all this was going on, and especially during 2023, but starting all the way back in 2021, I started to get healthy, right? And so I'm 57 years old. I know. Some people think because I'm short, I look 18. Some people think because I have gray hair, I look 97, not 57.
Oh, stop!
Somebody called me abuelo the other day on the beach.
Sí.
Abuelo.
Sí.
No soy abuelo.
Posible, no sé.
It was pretty funny. I was actually doing push-ups and pull-ups at the original site of Muscle Beach in Santa Monica near the pier, and there was a whole family like walking down the pier, and one of the girls comes running up and starts doing push-ups next to me, and everybody whips out their phones and starts taking videos of her working out at the original site of Muscle Beach next to Abuelo, and she asked me if I was a grandpa, and I said no, and then she was kind of embarrassed. It was pretty funny.
That's funny.
But I do have white hair.
So it goes. All right. So enough about you and your hair. Getting healthy. What did that do? What did it inspire you?
Well, so I started to think about ways that I could get more healthy, and my doctor was like, "Look, you're not 40 anymore. You're not 30. You're not even 25. You're in your mid 50s, and you got to start thinking about health." And I'm like, "I am healthy. I shop at the farmer's market. I eat a vegetable intensive diet. I barely eat any of the stuff I'm not supposed to eat." But he's like, "Well, some of your test results are not as good as they should be."
So what I'm hearing you say is that the facts led you to this. The data, right? So you looked at the facts and you decided.
Yeah. Well, I decided that I needed to get more healthy. And so during like 2020, it was hard to get healthy, right? You couldn't go to a yoga class. You could go out for a run, but you weren't sure if you needed to wear a mask while you were running. It got a little crazy, right?
True.
So no, I didn't wear a mask when I was running, but I also like spent way too much time on Zoom in 2020. And my body was like telling me, "Hey, man, I need some exercise. I need a better diet." The farmers markets were closed during the
Right.
beginning of 2020, right? So I don't know where we were getting our veggies from, but they were not the same veggies that my body was used to. And long story short, I started on my journey in 2021 to get healthy, and that meant losing weight, exercising more, and really trying to get to like the science and nutrition behind getting healthy. And that's hard to find, right? So it took about a year of failure, really, to start to lock in the diet and exercise regimen that I was looking for. And now 3 years later, I've hit all my markers, my biomarkers, and all my goals, and I'm in lockstep with where I think I'm supposed to be, and I'm maintaining. My doctor is really happy. My wife's really happy. My mom's really happy. Everybody's
Great.
happy.
That's
I'm
great.
really
Now,
happy.
now square with me this. Pizza guy, healthy guy.
Yeah.
Come on,
So
baby.
here was one of the things, Justin, that was keeping me up at night. How could I be a pizza coach, a pizza teacher, a pizza consultant who mostly pushes white flour when I was eating only whole grains? Right? How
Valid
could I
question.
be the guy teaching people to make frico crust, pizza using some processed foods,
Say
including
it.
flour, cheese,
Say it.
cupping pepper, all
Yeah.
this
Oh,
stuff.
mm, mm.
I don't want to. I can't even say the
My
cupping
mouth. I'm
pepperoni.
I'm getting that little
I know.
chin
I know.
tinge.
I
Gets
start to think
gets me
like,
here, right
am I
here.
leading a double life? Am I a liar?
Oh, there we
How
go.
can I be so
Identity
healthy in my
identity crisis, huh?
identity
Identity
crisis?
crisis.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I just started to think about it, and I'm like, how can I make a change? How can I bring? And people say to me all the time, "Man, you look great. How'd you do it?" And then when I tell them how I did it, they're like, "Oh, I can't do that." Right. But here's the funny thing: the
Hmm.
people in my life, the closest people in my life, have made tiny little changes,
Hmm.
right? And they've become um, happier, healthier. And everybody has to define, what makes them happy and healthy. But at the same time, there's a nature nurture thing that I'm learning about, and I haven't mastered it, but like, my own family comes from Eastern Europe, and we have a certain set of rules, right? Our DNA. And so, for instance, in my family, there's high blood pressure and hypertension to deal with. In my family, there's obesity to deal with. In my family, there's diabetes to deal with. And so these are some of the kind of built-in issues that I've got to deal with. And as much as I run, 5 miles every morning. I walk another 5 miles during the day. I swim a mile a day, every day, 6 days a week. Shop at the farmer's market 3, 4 times a week. Do all the food prep. Have eliminated as many of the foods that I'm supposed to, except for one or two. Which I got to have a little white flour. I got to have a little beer or wine or kombucha here and there. But I mean, I'm pretty close to where I want to be. There's some last hurdles like sleep that I'm wrestling with, right? So anyway, long story short, I have begun to collaborate with a variety of companies, including King Arthur, who will be coming on soon, including Hayden Mills, who will be coming on soon. There's a lot more manufacturers that I have chosen to work with who will be coming on in the coming weeks. And also, instead of collaborating with chefs and pizza makers and bread bakers, the first nutritionist or the first collaborator that I'll be working with for the first beginner, intermediate, and advanced level 3 classes, count them one,
Wow.
two, three,
Wow.
is a woman that I met through my wife, and she's a certified dietitian and nutritionist, and she works in the gastrointestinal wing. Did I say intestinal? correctly, of
No, no.
UCLA. And she's doing a lot of freelance work these days, and she's going to be doing 3 collaborations with us,
Great.
Nancy Jaffe. So she'll be on
Great.
next week as one of our collab partners, and we'll chat with her. And she and I have been talking a lot, and so I'm going to try a different way to create healthy or delicious and healthy pizza from before. The way that I'm going to do it is I have a list of healthy foods that we have put together, mostly foods that she's given me. And I'm like, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? And so I'm working on dialing in the first beginner, intermediate, and advanced level 3 classes using healthier flours than we've used in the past, using healthier ingredients than I've used in the past, using better techniques than I've used in the past. But this is not the health and well-being are not like, if you do this, that will happen. It's an open conversation between you and your body, your lifestyle, your family and friends, your coworkers, right? It's like everybody's different. Everybody has different goals. So the reason we're doing these workshops before the classes begin is we want to get some input from people, but also we want to introduce some of our collab partners, most importantly, who will be providing the raw ingredients, who will be helping with the recipes and techniques, so that for people who want to like eat healthy during the week and then go crazy and be pizza warriors on the weekend, we'll help you do that. Right. For people who want to lose weight or bulk up or just maintain, right? Or for people with very specific health or dietary concerns, we want to help people dial in their pizza game and get that going, so that if you want to eat pizza every day, Justin, you can.
Thank goodness. That's what I really wanted to hear. And another thing, that if you want to feed your children pizza every day, maybe you can, but it's
Don't
not
say maybe.
Empty.
Don't say maybe.
You can. You can. And it's not going to be empty nonsense that you're putting in there. It's going to be positive things that are reinforcing a healthy body, a healthy mind, healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting, Noel. It's about kind of like, as a wise man once said, or a person once said, I'm looking at the man in the mirror, right? And I'm asking him to make that change.
Good. Now, speaking of make that change, Justin, we got to get some of our pronunciation and diction down before we bring on our next collab partner, which will be Kim from King Arthur. Kim, if you're there, don't come on yet. Wait for Justin to ring the big blue bell.
I do not see Kim.
Okay, she'll be on. Don't worry.
Okay, great.
So here's the thing. Say it with me. Regeneratively grown. Try it.
Whoa. Let's clap it out.
Regeneratively grown. Regeneratively grown.
I got to figure out where that extra A is in there.
Regeneratively grown.
So what does that mean, real quick?
I have no idea. We're going to find out.
Well, I cannot wait.
And then also we're going to work with another flour from King Arthur called Golden Wheat, which I've been working with for a couple of years. And it's been through it. This wheat has changed names. It's changed. I don't know if the content has changed. Yeah.
So wait, this is King Arthur has golden wheat. Oh,
yeah. It's really nice. So we're going to use that for our intermediate class. And then the regeneratively grown flour, which is a whole grain flour, we're going to use for the advanced class, where we do whole grains and levain or
so King Arthur has a regeneratively grown flour.
They do.
Is that new?
It's newish. They've been developing it for years. I've been kind of in on it because I'm friends with Jeff, and he's introduced me to a bunch of people who have been working on the project. So it's a great project. It's a great flour. I've been using the flour consistently for the better part of a year, and I really like it.
My goodness.
Yep. And then the blonde is great too. We're going to use it in intermediate, and I'm going to work it into the advanced as well because the flavor's there. And I like that it's for people who want to be healthy but don't want that whole wheaty kind of thing. I think it works really well. So we've got those two things, and then we'll talk about their durum flour as well, which I'm a huge fan of. And for me, in my journey, My doctor has advised me to seek out ingredients that are lower on the glycemic index. So long story short, durum flour for pasta and for pizza is delicious and helps you on the road to lowering your glycemic index.
Which seems to be a big buzzword these days, and you can just put a stick a pin in you and lower it and lose some weight. But maybe we'll try a different way to do that. Kim just popped on. Are you making your order for breakfast? What's going on here? Wait, there she is. Wait, I didn't blue bell you, but I'm gonna just do it. I gotta do it. I
I'm
gotta do it.
here. I'm
Hello,
here.
Kim. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you doing? Thanks for jumping on.
I'm doing great. It's Saturday, so
I
it's
know.
the
Sabado,
best day there could be.
9/14. I'm so grateful that everybody made it through Friday the 13th.
Same.
Yeah,
I know. We're here.
it's a little touch and go every once in a while. So, well, welcome, welcome, welcome. Noel, are you good over there? Good to
All
go?
systems go.
You're
There's a lot
good.
going on. The pizzeria is opening in 30 minutes. So for anybody who works in the restaurant business, those last 30 minutes are crucial.
Would you
I
say
can,
you're
this is
in
a
the
slice
weeds?
shop, so they're already baking the pizza. I can smell peppers, onions, definitely peppers and onions.
Okay. I'm gonna jump off. I'm gonna let you guys chit chat. I'm gonna be standing by, okay? So enjoy this little discussion. Bye.
All right, Kim, let me ask you first, where are you exactly?
So I'm in Burlington, Vermont.
And why would anybody spend the fall or winter in Burlington, Vermont? Are you a skier?
So I am a skier, and I will say the little hidden secret here is we also have just amazing summers. So year round, right? It's March through April that gets tough up here when it's still cold, sun isn't quite out. We call it mud season. That's the hardest part of the year, but summers, fall, winters are fantastic. So I can't complain.
Beautiful. So thank you for joining us today.
Of course.
I'm a big fan of King Arthur, as you know. And the reason that I've invited you here is that I want you to talk about some of the flours that we're going to be using in the intermediate and advanced classes coming up. Level 3, healthy pizza.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I thought I'd do today is share a little bit more. I'm not sure how familiar everyone is with King Arthur in general, but I wanted to make sure, Noel, you're a big fan, but we don't always know where people are in their flour and baking journey. So I wanted to go ahead and also just share more about King Arthur overall and talk about two of our most sustainable flours that we just recently launched. So if you're not familiar with King Arthur, we've been around since 1790. A lot of people don't know that little fact, but we've been around since George Washington was president. So over 230 years, which is hard to believe. And I will say one thing that has stuck with us through centuries is that we are obsessed with quality, right? You look at our specs and how our product is produced. We have the tightest specs in the industry in terms of our milling process. And it's just been from the start an obsession with quality. And while a lot has changed in 200 plus years, we're now 100% employee owned. So wonderful, as in we call ourselves EOs, employee owners. It's a great benefit when all the profits go back to the employees. So a really fantastic company to work for. And we're also a B Corp. So by that, B corporations are focused on people, planet, profit, the triple bottom line. So as an employee owned company, it's all about doing the right thing for our people and the planet. And what I want to talk a little bit about today too is this idea of planet. So at King Arthur, we recently announced what we're calling Grains for Good. So this is a sustainability focused commitment with a goal of having 100% of our wheat regeneratively grown by 2030. And I'll get into more about what regenerative means, but we are also on a mission to ensure that we help consumers and bakers, of course, understand the importance of regenerative agriculture and what the end benefit is for not only their baking, but for the planet as a whole. And then King Arthur, when you think of us too, I'm sure many of you have heard of us, but our goal is really to be a product and a resource for all bakers. So what that means is we have pretty much every type of flour you can think of for every baking occasion. And you think of also for every dietary restriction. So we are the #1 gluten-free baking brand in the country. We have several gluten-free flours. This past year, we introduced our gluten-free pizza and gluten-free bread flour, which are kind of revolutionary in the gluten-free yeasted baking space. And we have had many people write reviews that they are sobbing eating their gluten-free pizza because they are just overcome with joy that they can actually make like a Neapolitan style pizza that tastes like the real thing for those people who might have celiac. And we also have keto flour as well. So we've really tried to expand the portfolio beyond just conventional and organic to cater to specialty diets over time. And then as a baking resource, for those of you who may not know, we have over 2,000 recipes on our site, blogs, resources galore for every baker. We have baking on demand classes now to ensure that, you know, we can reach people in their homes at a convenient time. And a little known fact is that we also have a baker's hotline, which people are always like, tell me more, what does that mean? But 7 days a week, you can reach a professional baker at King Arthur and ask them all of your burning baking questions. So you could be mid-bake, you know, or your dough's not rising or any mishap in the kitchen. And you can call what we call like our baking therapy line and talk through a professional baker how to kind of fix the bake you're in or prep the bake you have coming up. So I always like to share that because not many people know that we've got that in the background. All right, and then grains for good. So this is where I started earlier to talk about kind of our focus on sustainability. So given that, of course, flour is the heart of our business, it only makes sense as a company that we're thinking really critically about how it's grown, how it's harvested and milled. And that's why, as I shared earlier, by 2030, our goal is to have 100% of our wheat be sourced from regenerative grown wheat.
I see slow motion and I see some sub captions, but I do not hear anything. Justin?
Okay.
Let's just watch the beautiful video and you can talk over it. And I can talk over it. So who's that person with the shovel?
She is from Sustainable Food Lab, and she's advised us on a regenerative agriculture. And this is our VP of Corporate Responsibility, Suzanne. And here she's speaking to, you know, we've been around for generations and we want to be around for generations, which is why we need to update the way we farm. And our goal is to ease the burden on farmers. And this goes back to our goal of by 2030, all of the wheat will be regeneratively grown.
Who's that guy? Who's that crazy guy with the beard? I know who he is, but I know you do too, right?
Yes, Steve Jones from Bread Lab.
Dr. Steve Jones to you.
Sorry, I forgot the official title.
Dr. Jones to me. I just like Dr. Jones. He sounds like a James Bond character, right?
So true.
He's been on some of our webinars as well. He's awesome.
Yeah, and this is, you know, all the better food system starts in the field. And this is where we're saying bakers have the opportunity to choose planet-friendly flour. And I'll speak a little bit more about those two flours in a moment.
Yeah.
That we have launched recently.
Right. So, you know, when we were talking with Steve last year, one of the things he was suggesting to people who wanted to get into, you know, new kinds of wheat that maybe they weren't used to or familiar with, he said, just throw a handful into whatever you're making. Pancakes, biscuits, pizza, bread, just throw a handful in to start, you know, and like a lot of my pizza and bread brethren, sisters and brothers, we're in the 10 to 20% range. I'm trying to push people to 50, between 50 and 100, but you can only push so hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially with the whole wheats as well, right? That's the balance, is knowing that our lineup, at least so far on the regenerative side is whole wheat focused. So I'll go ahead and share more about that. So these are our two new regenerative flours. We have Climate Bloom flour that we launched about a year ago now, and this is actually only available on our website, Amazon, and Whole Foods. Of course, Whole Foods was a natural fit for us when we thought about launching this flour. And this is actually an 100% regeneratively grown wheat flour. It's a blend. So there's a perennial in there, there's blue salish. It's amazing in terms of how this kind of came together. And we actually worked with Dr. Jones to bring this to life with the Bread Lab out in Washington State. So we had a lot of advisory on this SKU itself. And this SKU is just, it's amazing, right? You get like that rich, nutty flavor. You get a really tender texture. It's great for bread, of course, pizza, at the right amounts, which it sounds like, Noel, you've perfected on your end.
No, I have not perfected. But I'm trying. I would say that I've gotten to the point where I can use 60% whole grains, and people who say that they don't like whole wheat eat my pizza as they say I don't like whole wheat, and I'm like, you're soaking in it, baby. You're soaking in it.
Let me, yeah, you can inform them. You have no idea what you're actually tasting right now.
Right.
And that's where the magic happens. And then we have our golden wheat flour, and we're calling this sustainably grown only because it's not third-party certified on this end. But this is grown using regenerative farming practices out from Farmer Direct, which is also out west. And this is quite an amazing SKU. It used to be called white whole wheat. And that caused some consumer confusion. People were like, oh, what is white whole wheat? Is that a bleached whole wheat flour? And we were like, no. All of our flour is always unbleached. So the white whole wheat is actually a type of wheat. It's wheat varietal. And that caused confusion for people. So what we did is we renamed this golden wheat whole wheat flour to take the white aspect out, so people wouldn't think we had a bleached wheat flour. That is not what we wanted people leaning forward with. And the amazing thing here is with this flour, you get the whole grains, but with a much milder taste. So this is when people, especially with any baked good you make with our golden wheat flour, people are like, there's no way this is a whole wheat flour. I can't taste it, right? And that's what we consider the magic in this SKU. You just get a very mild taste. And this is a great one too to look at. And you can do a 1-for-1 swap in many recipes for all-purpose flour here. Typically the recommendation for whole wheat is to do a 50%. But we always say for golden wheat, you can go ahead and actually try it. You can try the 50% and then work up to 100% if you're not quite sure, but it's a pretty phenomenal SKU in terms of just performance and taste.
Yeah, absolutely. Just so you know, I'm at 100% whole grains in my life, and I'm making 100% golden wheat for people, and in a variety of recipes, and they don't even know. They just think it's delicious.
Yeah.
I tell them after they eat it.
Yeah. And then sometimes, even despite toppings, right? You wouldn't even know.
No, I mean, you got to have good toppings, but you know what? I always try to start with just beautiful olive oil and really nice salt. And I think that if you can make that dance, then a few pepperonis or some cheese or whatever you like on your pizza is just icing on the proverbial cake, right?
Correct. Brings all the senses to life.
There you go.
We're also, I would say, on a mission as well, as I said earlier, right? Regenerative agriculture, what we're learning through consumer research is people just don't understand what this is and what the end benefits are. So as we commit to a regenerative agriculture supply chain and we launch these flours, we have a super heavy lift, and I'm a marketer, on the marketing side to figure out how do we educate people on these end benefits and let them know this truly is a better choice. And this is where our main focus right now is to really distill it down to soil health, to let people know, right, by it's improving soil fertility through increased biomass production, therefore preventing soil degradation. So we're focusing a lot on this idea of soil health. And again, as Suzanne mentioned in the video, which you didn't hear, but you probably saw some of the subtitles for, that's where, we think we've been around for generations and we want to be around for more generations to come. And we need to start caring for the land. So that's the crux for messaging as we launch. But regenerative agriculture is so much more, right? It's creating resilient ecosystems. So you think about like higher nutrient use efficiency, increased crop yield, improved water efficiency, reduced stress on freshwater reserves. So there's so much happening in the world of ecosystems, and then the farmer well-being, right? So this is improving farmers' livelihood through reduced costs, improved crop yield. They're doing actual crop rotations. So overall, just, long term for the farmer, it may be a switch for them, it may be an investment, but increasing their livelihood down the road. And then in terms of fostering biodiversity, right, you get that diverse rotation, reduced pesticide usage because you're rotating the crops. And in some cases, that results in higher crop yield for the farmers as well. So this is where, again, great benefit in the end for them. And then we can't ignore climate, right? So overall, regenerative farming has the end benefit of mitigating emissions. So it's actually sequestering carbon and improving crop resilience. And also what this does too is it helps prevent from some climate shock as well. And as we all know, well, I know very well because our whole entire existence as a flower company relies on, right, climate. And there can be poor crop yield some years. So this helps also the farmers bolster some resiliency in the farm to protect them against those climate shocks that do happen, whether it be, higher than usual rain amounts or colder springs. So it's a win-win for us as a company. It's win-win for consumers, and I would say a win-win for farmers too. And that's what I wanted to share today, Noel, is just really, help people understand, hey, if you don't know about King Arthur, here's who we are. Let them know more about the flowers themselves and share a little bit more about regenerative agriculture. So as you see it come up in the news or show up on products, you are now better informed as to what it is, because I will say we're not the only company investing in this. And I think more and more we're going to see, food companies across the board really invest in these future ecosystems and ensure, as I said, be around for generations to come.
So I have some questions.
Yeah.
So I live in a bubble in California, and my mom started buying organic food in the 1970s. And when we would go other places, you couldn't get it, right? And by other places, I mean, we would drive 10 miles away from. My mom would strive to find organic food, and it was expensive and hard to find. And then cut to 20, 30 years, 40 years later, it's everywhere, right? And so the reason I bring it up is that when I talk to people and I ask people about regeneratively grown foods, most people don't know what I'm talking about. And then for people who do know, they say it's impossible, which is the same thing they said about organic 40, 50 years ago, right? When I was coming up. Yeah. So I don't know. I might be wrong, but I think it's the way toward the future. And that's one of the reasons that I wanted to work with you, because I think that King Arthur is a forward-looking company, right? I don't know. I probably know 24 people that work for King Arthur, but I like the people that work there. And that's one of the reasons that I like working with you guys. And I like the way that you think, very forward-looking. And I know people are addicted to, I'm addicted to white flour. I mean, who doesn't love a beautiful baguette or a great pizza made with high gluten flour? Who doesn't love, straight up pancakes or whatever it is, that scones that people love, right? It makes everything light. It makes everything airy. It makes everything crispy and crunchy. And the way that the malted flour caramelizes is pretty wonderful, right? But I do think that when you think about it, how can you be healthy in an unhealthy environment, right?
Yeah.
And, I think a lot of people, I'm actually surprised how many people are reaching out to me for healthy options, because besides being a teacher, coach, a consultant, I have been working for a long time as a cook, right? As a caterer, and my catering again is coming back, and a lot of people who I'm kind of surprised are asking for whole grains. They're asking for organic certified. They're asking for more vegetable forward options. People are on restrictive diets, right? And they want to have pizza, but there are certain ways forward, right, that
Right.
they're learning about. And it's great because when people ask about regeneratively grown flour or farming practices, I can say, yeah, I have sources for lots of stuff.
Yeah.
And so more and more people are asking. And also, the thing is, as Justin would say, it has to pass the smell test. So I did a tasting for Chris Bianco a couple of months ago with a 60% whole wheat product, including some of your flour, and he was blown away. Right. And he uses like a type 85 flour in his pizza. I don't think he uses any 100% whole wheat, and it's not a very large amount, but it's a healthy amount. And when I go 50 or 60 or 70 or 100% whole grains, and people actually think it tastes good and it's not dense, I feel like I'm halfway there, right?
Yep.
It's really about changing minds and hearts, right?
Yes.
And also, I don't know what it will take for normal people to get to the point where they feel like they can take that step, right? Maybe it's affordability, maybe it's accessibility. I really don't know what it's going to take or how long.
Yeah. And I agree with you. I think it's the minds and heart piece, right? For the people searching for a healthier option, it's that feel good effect on both sides, right? It's the feel good effect of, hey, I'm going to feel better. My body is going to feel better eating this, but I'm also doing something planet forward. And that's the magic, right? Is it's not just about you, right? We're all consumers. We make selfish decisions at times, but this is, for me, especially these two SKUs, it's someone seeking that better for them, but also better, as I said, planet forward, people forward decisions. And there's a ripple effect there. So to your point on that hearts and minds, it plays back very nicely. And the organic piece, entirely agree with you. There's, of course, a sea change back in the day. Took a lot to educate people on, why that was important and people dipping into it. And I think regenerative will be a sea change as well, but it's going to take a lot of education. And at King Arthur, on the marketing side, especially, we've been talking to a lot of other companies who are focused on regen and saying, how do we work together? How do we work together to educate? How do we work together to learn from each other?
Yeah.
And also work together to educate the farmers, right? That's part of the battles. There needs to be enough regenerative wheat for us all to source from, and other regenerative crops from us all to source from. So it's also the farmer education that is just as important as the consumer education. So we can bring them along and teach them on these end benefits for consumers, the planet, and them.
Yeah, beautiful.
Just really bringing that sense of awareness across the board, I think, is so important. Starting the conversation, having the conversation, and I really love what you were saying just about the both sides of the issue. Not only is it for yourself,
Yep.
right, but in terms of doing that, I mean, look, it's going to be delicious, and the more we use it, the more we play with it, the more we propagate it to our friends and our families and our children and all that stuff, it becomes commonplace. And we in turn are then basically paying it forward instead of kicking the can.
Right.
That's what I really love, in making this decision that betters ourselves, across the board, but it also betters the lives of all the people that are involved all the way up that chain, and in turn is better for the whole planet.
100%.
I mean, that's really what it is. It's a cosmic consensus idea of perspective that I think that we need to start. This pizza path forward. Stop thinking about everybody as individual, like, Noel and I through all of our classes. It's the New York style, it's the Detroit style, it's the this, it's the that, and everybody's, oh, my style, your style, you don't know the Neapolitana or this or that, and everybody's so divisive. But really, it can be something that brings us together instead. And it really excites me. Noel, any thoughts on that?
Cosmic what? Consensus? I can't.
Cosmic consensus.
I'm googling that, Justin. I think you just coined a phrase because it
But
doesn't
that's
exist.
but
It
that's the
doesn't
idea.
exist.
It's that perspective of, when people are going into outer space and then they look back at Earth, they have this like idea that all the little things that make us different are actually things that bring us together. And I think that this regenerative farming is one of those things that we can, the more we talk about it, the more we do these Zooms, the more we bring people in, invite them to make just a slightly or healthier choice, like you were saying, Noel, right?
Yeah.
It's a game
Right.
of inches, right? It's a game of inches.
And Justin, we may borrow that phrase now for marketing purposes. I
Come
love
on.
it. Cosmic
Hey, look,
consensus.
I am an actor, so anytime King Arthur wants to bring me into the
We
fold,
will give
I'm
you
ready.
credit. We will
I'm
give you
ready.
credit for
I'm
sure.
ready. I'm
And
ready.
you spoke to the different, let's call them genres or types of pizza. I think, why not give also credit to sustainable pizza,
Right,
right? Like
right. I
that
mean,
would be
we
a
were
term
thinking,
in of itself, right? There's
and that's
Neapolitan pizza, there's New York style pizza. To your point, a whole class could be built around
Kim,
sustainability.
I was, it's so funny that you bring that up because Noel and I are thinking of like ways to talk about healthy pizza and stuff like, to just we want to pitch it to the masses. But I had a couple
Yeah,
like Eco Crust or Balance Bite Pie, BBP. So we're trying to
love
come up
it.
with some fun ideas that, can really just kind of get into that kind of, what do they call it? The kind of the zeitgeist of the moment to say, look,
Yes,
we can make decisions that are better not only for ourselves but for everyone, instead of saying, well, that's not for me and that doesn't deal with me and so it doesn't affect me,
of
because really
course.
it does. So good stuff. Good stuff. Well, we're really excited, Noel.
I'm
This is going to be
excited. Can
awesome.
you tell?
Yeah, I am. And so I was able to put in the chat the 2 flowers that we have from King Arthur. And correct me if I'm wrong, during the classes, there's going to be a little discount, maybe. Anybody?
Yes.
Anybody?
So we'll probably get a discount code this coming
Great.
week.
Great.
And I'll get the 3 pages for the beginning, intermediate, and advanced classes live, and we'll get the info and registration pages going as well. So this is our first weekend of open house, so it's kind of a dry run, if you will. So thank you, Kim, for participating.
Of
And
course.
who's
Happy
going to be with us
here.
in 2 weeks?
Katie on
Katie.
the innovation team. Katie Jones will be
We're
joining.
really looking forward to it.
So you're the director of marketing, and what is the innovation team?
So the innovation team is focused on new product development versus my team is focused on kind of steady state business with kind of the products we're in market today. So they do a lot of handoffs to us, of course, right? They launch and we bring it to market. So
There we
it's
go.
Got it.
we work
Got it.
very closely together, and Katie will be great. We're excited to have her join.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it.
All
Well,
So
thank you. And do what you can. We want to get Jeff on one of these things, right?
Oh, yeah.
If we
Jeff
got Dr. Jones, we've had Jeff on once or twice, but he's a hard
Yankalo.
nut to crack.
Yankalo, let's get him. Let's hold him to it.
I'll have a chat with him next week.
Please have a
All
chat
right.
with Jeff Yankalo.
I'll work on it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so
right.
much, Kim.
Great
Thank
presentation.
you for having me.
Yep,
Thanks.
we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
All right.
Well, I don't know about you, Justin. I enjoy that to the max.
Well, it's good information to put out there so people can start. Look, if you're going to be, chewing on a, New York style pizza crust, you might as well be chewing on some regeneratively farming, thoughts in your brain head. Come on, bones in the boneyard, baby.
Good.
Come on. But it is really exciting stuff, and I really am excited. That's some interesting stuff. I didn't know that about King Arthur. Being 100% employee owned, being a B Corp, all that stuff, and really striving to do better things for not just their profits, but for everybody. Who's coming on next?
I have no
Rise.
idea who's on the list. Is it Debbie?
I think Debbie is coming on. So Debbie, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ring the blue bell. Here it goes. Debbie, if you're there, come on down. And I'm going to ask you to start your video and ask you to unmute. So Debbie is from Hayden Springs?
Oh,
Hayden
no,
Flour
you're thinking.
Mills.
Huh?
Hayden Flour Mills.
Hayden Flour Mills. Well, welcome. welcome.
Thank you.
How's it going?
I'm
Arizona.
good. I got
Good.
to catch the tail end here of the King Arthur fun, and Justin, you're just a lot of fun.
You know, that's one word my wife would say, probably would. She, what we try to do is, it's measured on the smiles and the laughs, right? The whole
Yes,
gig.
and the hand gestures. You got those hand gestures down.
Oh boy.
All that acting.
Not the first time
all
I've
that
heard
acting,
that.
Justin,
Huh?
all that acting. You hear that?
Call that a
It shows.
little flair, right? It's a
You
lot
got the
of
flair.
time on Zoom. You got to fill the screen, right? A
I
lot of
love
time
it.
on Zoom.
I love
Oh,
it.
Justin, you
I
fill
gotta
a
take
screen.
notes.
Yeah. So, well, welcome. Like I said, I'm gonna bounce off like I did last time. I'm gonna let you guys chit chat for a momo, and then I'll come back on to help wrap things up. So, Debbie, thank you so much for coming to hang out with us. I'm really excited to hear this discussion. All right,
Thank
bye
you.
guys.
Well.
Hi. How's it
Welcome.
going, Noel?
It's going great. Where are you today?
So I'm in Arizona. I'm in Gilbert, Arizona. I think it's only going to be a high of about 100 today, so we're lucky. Yeah, just bearing through the last weeks of summer here.
Beautiful. And
Yeah.
what brings you to our open house, Debbie?
Well, you guys are going to be featuring our chickpea flour in a couple of weeks. It's our stone ground chickpea flour, and I'm excited to see the pizza you're making. I saw some early images. It's looking amazing. I think chickpea flour, people don't quite know what to do with it sometimes.
Yeah.
Often it's something that people think about for, Middle Eastern or Indian dishes. And so the fact that you're bringing it to pizza is really exciting.
Good. Now, can you tell people how you found me? Because I didn't find you, you found me.
Oh my gosh. Well, it started through I heard you guys on a podcast talking about a new sourdough starter project that you're working on. And that's kind of how we got connected. And of course, we're big in the pizza world. We love all kinds of pizza, whether it's Neapolitan, Detroit, we're kind of universalists when it comes to that. But yeah, it was really fun to connect with you. And just, I love what you're doing in the pizza world. You're very generous to give me your time and attention and, just help promote good things, especially when it comes to wheat sources, grain sources like the chickpea flour. So.
Excellent. So you saw us or you heard us on the Peter Reinhardt podcast, which is awesome. Those, podcasts are funny things. Like I get invited to do a lot of them, and I do as many as I can. But you never know who's going to listen and who's going to reach out, and that's always really exciting, right?
Yep.
Because the thing is, I do what I do, Justin does what he does, you do what you do, but sometimes our paths don't cross, right? So I've heard about you guys, and I went to visit Chris Bianco's place in Arizona, and I met him and his brother there, and they told me about how we'll get into this later about how you guys are all connected, and like it was really cool. Chris actually pointed to the corner where you guys used to kind of occupy a space in his bakery pizzeria. So I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I love the connection there, and I feel like I'm really excited to work with your product. And to be 100% honest, I would not have said that a year ago.
Wow.
Because honestly, like we're going to be working with your product for a gluten-free class, but really I don't think of the pizza that I'm making with your chickpea flour as gluten-free. I think of it as delicious, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've been working with it for about a month, a little longer, and mostly it gets better every time. When it doesn't get better, it's human error, or because I'm trying to like push the limits of what the product can do, right? And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I use my wife as a kind of a litmus test for just normal people. Like she's not a foodie, she's not a chef, she doesn't like vegetables, she doesn't like any of the things that I like. I don't know why we're even together, but she's just like a normie. And if I give her a slice of pizza that I say, try this pizza, what is it? It's gluten-free. I don't want it. Annabella, please, it's what we're having for dinner. Okay, but it better be good. And if it's not good, you're in trouble. Fine. And I gave it to her, and she was like, oh my God, more. more. And 2 weeks ago, we ate your pizza or pizza made with your flour 5 or 6 nights in a week.
Wow.
1 week.
Wow.
Including a big family dinner for my whole family, extended family. There was about 15 or 16 of us, and I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Detroit-style pizzas made with your flour.
Oh, wow.
And I made it for my family from New York, and they're the toughest of all. Don't tell me this is good pizza. I'll tell you, and they're like, "Wow, this is great."
Well, when people try our flours for the first time, they go, "Wow, there's something different in here." There's a nuance to it that it's like, what did you put in this? Is often the question that I get. And when they hear that it's whole grain, oftentimes whole grain, whole wheat, it's associated with dry, bitter tasting. It kind of removes the enjoyment of it. But when people start to work with our flours, they go, wow, I never knew wheat could taste so good. And the wonderful thing is it's good for you. So sometimes when you're eating things that are good for you, I feel for your wife. I'm not a big veggie eater either. Sometimes you eat it because you got to eat it. That's good for you, right? But when people start to experience the flavors that heritage whole grains have, they want more of it. It's like our bodies are made for this.
Yeah. So let's see. I think one of the phrases you said when people work with our flours. I think that's a really important concept because what I'm about when it comes to like alternative grains or non-wheat or even, gluten-free, I'm not looking for a mix. What I'm looking for is raw ingredients that I can use to create something next level, right? And that's something that I believe that I've created with your product. And so by next level, I mean something that's nutritious, something that tastes great, and also performs at the highest level. Because pizza in the United States right now is like peaking in terms of like popularity, curiosity. There's all this like regional interest in like all of the different styles, right? And so I would say that, stuff like chickpea flour, people know it when they go to Europe or when they go to the Middle East, right? People know about soca. People know about farinata, right? People know about, but they don't really, they think of it as like a non-Western kind of product, right? So to be able to incorporate it into something like pizza or to make, like I'm making a Detroit style pizza with it, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I'm also making just the regular old round pizza with it too, right? But it's delicious. It smells good. It looks good. It performs well. So why don't we spend a little time learning about what goes into this product and a little bit more about your company and what it stands for, and then we'll move on. What do you say?
Sure. Yep, sounds good. Is it okay if I share my screen here?
Please do.
Okay, so I'm going to give everybody a little short history of the mill here. So pictured in this photo is Jeff and Emma Zimmerman. Emma's holding a bushel of white Sonora wheat. They founded Hayden Flour Mills about 12 years ago, back in 2013 now, back in 2011. And Hayden Flour Mills, if anybody in the audience is in Arizona, it's probably a familiar name. It was a mill that actually founded the city of Tempe, where our big Arizona State University is in. And anyhow, there's a long history to that brand. People can look it up online, or go to our website and read about the history. But basically, when the brand went defunct in the late 90s and was sold out to a larger mill. And so when Jeff and Emma were wanting to start growing grains in the desert and stone milling them into different wheats, they wanted to have a name that had historical significance because they were going back to the way that wheat used to be milled over 100 years ago. And so they approached the Hayden family, who still lives in Arizona to this day, and they're very excited to have the brand name revived. So that's where the name came from. And Jeff literally started milling grains in his garage and biking them to anyone who would buy it. We started selling our flours at farmers markets. So it's very much a grassroots beginning. So these are some pictures of the flours that we mill. Over on the top left is like a wheat bran. that we make into a farmer's porridge that's kind of like a more flavorful version of cream of wheat. And then we've got the different stone mill flours. And you can see the colors are a little bit different than what you might see in a typical flour that you would bake with. That's because we stone mill the grains whole grain. We don't remove any parts of the wheat. And so you get all of the flavor, the nutrients. Like I said, things that people go, I never knew wheat could taste so good. It comes really from the heart of the wheat, which is the germ. So kind of how our process works is over on the left, you have a bushel of the Bluebeard durum heritage grain. So we work really hard to find these wheat varieties that are growing extinct. We go to seed banks and we start with a coffee can of wheat, and we have local farmers grow out these heritage wheat varieties. And people go, wow, what do you have to do to make wheat grow in the desert, right? There's actually nothing we have to do. Wheat is naturally an arid plant, and the varieties that we grow with originated in the Middle East, where wheat originally came from. And so we really don't have to do anything. It's a low water use, deep-rooted plant. We don't have to put any kind of chemical input. So when you're talking about sustainability, caring for the soil, these plants just naturally do that in this arid environment. We harvest in the bone dry summer, June, July, right before the monsoon season hits. And wheat is supposed to be harvested at its driest point. You don't want any kind of moisture in the wheat that can create toxins. So, it's a natural process that we use. And then we work with local farmers. The farmer shown in the middle here is Noah. He's one of my favorite farmers that we work with. And we are very committed to making sure the farmer stays whole. When you work with heritage wheat varieties, and this is a reason it went out of favor with a lot of farmers in America, is it only produces a third of the crop that modern wheat varieties produce. So to make the farmer whole, we pay him by acre just for farming. We don't pay him by pound of yield. So if the yields are great, we have a great year, we're able to pass those savings on to customers. But we're just really committed to taking care of our farmers and making sure that we're motivating them to grow out these heritage wheat varieties that are good for the soil, that are sustainable, that are, carbon negative. They sequester carbon out of the air and put it into the soil. So there's a lot of good things to growing this. And something else you get, it's great to hear about things that are sustainable and taking care of the earth. But really, if you're not tasting a difference on the palate, sometimes those reasons don't hold true when you're having to pay a higher price at checkout, right? So when you have a lower yielding crop, you have more nutrients going into the wheat berries, and therefore more flavor comes out. So you're tasting something different than what you get with a modern wheat variety. And that really is the stickiness of our product. When people taste our product, they go, wow, there's something different here. And part of it is the fact that we're using heritage wheats. And then the third thing that makes us different, over on the right here, you see Jeff and Emma. This is our stone mill that's located in Queen Creek, Arizona. Inside of that, so we drop the wheat berries into that yellow top funnel there, and then it goes through a stone milling process. And then sometimes we lightly sift just the most coarse parts of the grain that would affect performance. So Noel, when you were saying that, the performance was still there, it's part of that is because of that we sift the coarse parts of the wheat out that we know would affect performance, but you still get all three components of the grain, the wheat, the bran, and the endosperm. And then folks, whether they're direct to consumers and they come to our website and they purchase flour for their home use or their restaurants, we work with a lot of local restaurants and bakeries here in town. You can make bread with our products. You can make pizza, which is what we're talking about today, baked goods, cookies. I love making my Christmas cookies with our all-purpose flour. People think I've added some interesting ingredient into my sugar cookies, but really it's the flavor of the wheat. And then we work with James Beard Award-winning bakers, chefs like Chris Bianco, shown here on the left. I think everybody knows who he is. And then on the right is Don Guerra of Barrio Bread. He's in Tucson. He just won the James Beard Award-winning award for Best Baker just last year. And he is really committed, same with Chris, to the local grain movement that we have going on here. He's recently become like a distributor for us in the Tucson market to chefs and pizzerias down there that really want to bring something, put something into their bread or their pizza that sets them apart from the rest of the folks in town, and makes people want to keep coming back for more because it tastes so good. So that's us in a nutshell.
That's beautiful. Nice presentation. Thank you. So let's see. When you contacted me, we had a nice conversation and we went over all the beautiful flours that you have, and I asked about chickpea flour.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about that. Lots of companies have chickpea flour.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're all probably pretty delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Yours in particular, I gotta say, when I bake it, it smells really good. The way I've been baking it is in a pan, and I get it to really caramelize nicely. What I kind of did was the way that I do recipe development is I start with like this idea of what I think I want, and then I reach out usually to different bakers that I know who are doing what I want to do, but I always have my kind of my own take on what I want to do. So Chris Bianco, who you brought up, he does a farinata at his pizzeria.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a big fan of that. And that's a flatbread made with 100% chickpea flour, or can be made with 100% chickpea flour. The origin of that may or may not be Genoa in the north of Italy, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's also something called soca, which I believe comes from Nice or around Nice in France, right? Also, my wife is from Argentina, and in Argentina, they use a lot of non-wheat products. And so she is used to eating something called faina, which I believe comes from farinata, which is also made with chickpea flour, right?
Wow, that's fun.
Yeah. So what I've been doing is I've been talking to, I've got a friend north of Genoa as well that I've worked with a lot. And I asked him, like, how do they make farinata in Genoa? And he gave me a couple of like recipes or topping combinations. So I've been starting with those. But I'll be honest, like, I tried to make a bunch of the different recipes in the way that are traditional, because I like to start with tradition. And while they tasted good, they didn't have the texture that I was looking for, right? And also not very nutritious, right? So it's a little bit of a struggle for me, because while I want to do, tradition is the name of the game, but also innovation is a big part of what I'm striving for. And so how do you take what people already know, whether it's faina or farinata or soca or gluten-free pizza or Detroit style pizza, whatever it is, and use and innovate with it, right? So one of the things that I've been doing is I've been hiding vegetables in the pizza, right? And it may sound crazy, but like in Argentina, they make an onion pizza that's really popular, really popular. And so I've been putting onions not on the pizza, but in the pizza, right?
Oh, wow, nice.
Really super tasty. Black pepper in Genoa. They some of the old pizzerias there, or the places that make farinata. I don't know if they call it I don't know what they call places they make farinata, but they'll literally serve it to you, and they serve it with a pepper mill, if you can imagine, a pepper mill.
Wow.
There's a pizzeria in Rome it's called 00100, and they serve their pizza with a little pepper mill as well. So I think that farinata and black pepper are kissing cousins, right? Onions and black pepper kissing cousins. They also have some anchovies that they top their farinata with that are really beautiful. There's another style that uses blue cheese, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, really nice. So anyway, I'm kind of starting with tradition and trying to innovate as well as I can. So I know that you have some really good recipes on your website. So we'll put some of those in the chat. What kind of recipes do you, until we start working together, what kind of recipes do your bakers use chickpea flour with?
Yeah, so we have a Farinata recipe actually on the side of the box that's inspired by Chris Bianco, because when we were milling in the back of his kitchen, we had easy access to everything that he made. And so we got a lot of inspiration from him on that. We also have frites, which is from kind of originated from France. They make kind of a French fry out of it.
Those are
And then
so
we
good.
have, yes. And then if anybody, I had never heard of Dutch babies before I saw this recipe, but we have a Dutch baby recipe with chickpea flour. It puffs up really nicely. Basically, it's a pancake batter that you make in the blender. It's a really quick make for the morning breakfast. And then you put it into a sizzling hot cast iron pan with butter, stick it in the oven for a few minutes. It puffs up really nicely. You top it with berries and powdered sugar. And, you know, I feed it to my daughter on weekends and she loves it. And I go, you know what, I feel good letting her have this for breakfast instead of, say, just pancakes, because it's packed with protein. So have a second slice, have a third slice, you know? And then Emma wrote a cookbook recently, and there's even more recipes. There's a chickpea flour pound cake recipe in the cookbook. We like to take these grains that people aren't used to working with and show them new ways of, you know, experiencing them in the kitchen and maybe just putting them into a different shape that people aren't used to, you know?
Two of the recipes that caught my eye were cookie recipes. There's a chocolate chip chickpea cookie. Have you tried that? I have not. That looks good.
Yes. So that one is really excellent. I mean, if you've got, my son grew up with food allergies, so I'm very accustomed to like modifying recipes based on, you know, what he can eat. This recipe is chocolate chip tahini cookies. So if you have somebody with a nut allergy and a gluten allergy, this is perfect.
I mean, maybe we can do a chocolate chip tahini pizza.
There we go.
People are always asking for dessert pizza, right?
Dessert pizza, absolutely. And you know, Noel, you had mentioned you tasted something different in our chickpea flour as opposed to others. And while our process specifically for chickpea flour isn't entirely different from the rest of the industry, I think what you tasted is the fact that we do small batch fresh milled. So the chickpea flour you got was literally milled that week.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know. I work with a lot of different kinds of flour, but I think flour freshness is something that honestly is new to me, right? New in the last, let's say, 3 to 5 years. Before that, I would just kind of buy what was on the shelf or what my friends told me to buy. But now that I've been getting into like sourcing and actually visiting farms and mills, and people give me bags of, you know, freshly milled flour that they even mill at home. I'm starting to taste and smell the difference. Yeah, it's like, you know, it's like when you eat something that's day old versus fresh out of the oven, right? There's just something different to it. So yeah. Now, we're not making any health claims because we're not doctors, we're not nutritionists. I'm going to be working with some doctors and nutritionists, but on the side of the box, I was looking at some of the nutrients, and also I use this app called MyFitnessPal, right?
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with that one.
So I do a lot of I think they call it food journaling. That's the term they use. So I've been doing that for I actually have been doing it for a long time, but I've been doing it consistently for about 3 years. And here's one of the things that came up recently, and I don't know if you know much about this. So it has a very high iron content, right? The chickpea flour. And so, for instance, my mother, she was visiting with her doctor recently, and they did some blood work, and she found out that she was low in iron in her blood. So her doctor recommended that she eat 2 steaks a week, and I recommended that she not. I recommended that she eat more gluten-free pizza made with chickpea flour. Right?
That sounds fun.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I don't know, and when we start working with certified nutritionists and some of the other, you know, medical specialists, we'll get to the meat on the bone. But what I'm interested in is that I saw that when I entered my 1 8x10 pizza into MyFitnessPal, it told me that I got 130% of my RDA of iron for that day.
Wow. And
130%, one pizza. Not
that's
two
crazy.
steaks, one pizza.
And that is so much better than popping a pill of iron, right? Our bodies are meant to absorb nutrients through the food we eat.
Exactly.
So that's amazing. No, that you told me something new. I didn't know about that. So.
I'm not sure it's true. I mean, I am not a medical professional, so don't quote me. But and MyFitnessPal, I mean, it syncs to my Fitbit, and it's all like I got a scale. It's all like I'm out of the loop at this point, right?
Right.
My body and my brain and my apps are entirely in control. I have a mouth and a nose, and they're somewhat involved, but I've set up an automatic loop, and I'm just in it, and I'm in it to win it. Justin, look, I said I turned a phrase.
There you go.
A cliche. I don't make them up on the spot like you do.
Patterns in the metadata, huh? No,
patterns in the let me write that down. Justin,
gracious.
you are a potpourri of new expressions today.
Definitely a potpourri, if you will.
Definitely a potpourri.
Kidding me? Look at this shirt. It's like potpourri. Debbie, this sounds. I want some of those Dutch babies. I love a good Dutch baby.
Oh yeah.
A little popover action.
Yeah. Send your address.
Sounds pretty good.
Chickpea flour. Yeah.
That sounds really fun. I love what
Will you send Justin some chickpea flour? Because I don't know. He's a tough nut to crack. I don't know if you can tell from looking at him. He doesn't like fruit. Who doesn't like fruit?
Oh, hey, look. I eat tomato sauce.
Here we go, Justin. Top it with Nutella.
There you go. There we go. I gotta make my own Nutella. I really love what you were talking about, the experience and exposing. Experience this stuff, that there is a way that that's just, it boggles my mind. Yes, I want to give my kids the Dutch babies versus a Pop-Tart or a box pancake, or, my wife always says, and my grandmother always said, it's all about, and I think that this is just, kind of educating the masses. If you eat around the edge or shop around the edge of the grocery store, right? There are different ways. All the stuff in the middle, all the box stuff that is mass marketed and sold, it's empty, right? It's not giving us that nutrition. So like Noel was saying, I mean, the steak is one thing, but most of the stuff that we're feeding our children is garbage. Mm-hmm. It's garbage. Mm-hmm. But if you can make it fun and engaging and delicious and healthy, it's a win-win for everyone. So I'm really excited. It's just experiencing that. So people say, "Oh, wait, I'm losing my preconceptions about it," and then we experience, and then we can expose everybody. I'm really excited about. I'm looking at the chickpea fries. I mean, that's great. It's still fried. It's still a little French fry, but it's actually not bad for you. It's not empty. It's not just, and like Noel's worry about the glycemic index of this and that. You're eating a starchy potato versus something else. So and I'm definitely going to have, I love the idea of the chocolate chickpea pizza, Noel. I think that'll be great, because we're always trying to, like you said, we want dessert pizza. The kids love it, and we're gonna weasel in there and subversively feed them healthy things.
Justin,
and they don't even know it.
Yeah. Well, they'll know it because something about chickpea flour and chocolate and tahini is not necessarily what the kids are looking for, but they pop one chocolate chip cookie in their mouth and they'll come back for 10 more.
So I don't know. Last year, it's just kind of waxing phyllo dough, and I'm not talking about puff pastry here. Mm-hmm. Last year was the first year that so we had candy kids for Halloween, and it's like opening like a little, like, a snack size Snickers or whatever, Butterfinger or whatever, and eating it. It tasted like nothing. It tasted like nothing. It didn't even taste like candy. And so I think these big mega, for what it will, mega corporations have dumbed it down and taken everything out of it, that it doesn't even taste good anymore. And I think, honestly, if you can, like, it's what you were saying, exposing exposing and people to it so they can experience it and so they actually taste again. It's not unlike, Noel, what we were talking about, the salt content in America, right? The salt percentage that our palates have gotten used to is blown out. Everybody else says, "What are you eating?" All I taste is the salt. I mean, Dan Richer says 2%. right? Retrain our palates a little bit, right? Because it's not about making a big corporation, money so they can give back to their shareholders. Hey, you be your number one shareholder. Give back to yourself. Don't be afraid of that. So I'm really excited. Be your own shareholder, guys. Be
There
your
you
own
go.
shareholder.
Yeah, but you should know this about Justin. He has a stock buyback program with himself, and so
You're darn right.
he's getting richer and richer by the
Everything's
second.
everything's a balance. Everything is
Hey,
a
share
balance.
that with me, Justin.
Right. And well, we say everything in moderation, including
That's called
moderation.
insider trading. We'll have none of
Yeah,
that.
no.
You guys can discuss that offline. All right. I'm already
everything
in a world
moderation.
of trouble after yesterday's post.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
need any
yeah.
more heat.
Everything
From
in
the street.
moderation. Everything in moderation, including moderation.
Yes.
There you go.
It's the way we
There you
live our
go.
lives. That's the way we live our lives. Noel and I are really excited. We're gonna try to get some of our pepperoni companies to do cupping turkey pepperonis, the cupping Turks. So because the big thing is the cupping pepperonis, right? But all that is fat and this and that and that. So if we can just take 50% off the top and do the cupping Turks, there we go. Game of inches. Every little bit helps, right?
Absolutely. So Debbie, you and I are going to work together and try to get a promotion going where we give people a discount for their online purchases through your store. So we'll have a discount code on the registration page so people can go ahead, and that'll be good for more than just chickpea, right?
Yes, we're doing chickpea plus our most popular flours, all-purpose, artisan bread, and pizza.
Wow.
Great. Perfect. Thank you for that. We appreciate the generosity.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's spreading awareness, getting the conversation started. I put into the chat, everybody, your website, your story, the images, and a couple of those recipes, the chickpea fries, the farinata, the chocolate chip cookies, and the Dutch babies, and also your handle on the old Insta. So thank you very much. So anybody out there wants to jump on and do your own research and maybe a like or a follow, let's have at it.
Beautiful.
Love it. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're excited to get this boat on the show, so to speak. Are you going to be joining us next week, or what's the dealio? Or
No, she's
no.
No. Next week we have other collab partners. We're gonna have Nancy, our nutritionist, and who knows who might show up.
Yeah, great.
All right,
Well,
thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Debbie. Tell everybody, send everybody our love. All right. Pieces
All right,
and slices.
send some cool weather our way, would you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
and
send
enjoy your vacation. One of the many reasons she's not going to be here in 2 weeks.
Oh, right.
She's going to have her idea of fun is not our idea of fun, Justin.
Hey, it's all right. It's all right.
But thank you for joining us, Debbie.
I'm going to
All
send
right,
you my
thank you.
address. Thanks, Deb.
Yes, do. All right,
All right.
bye.
Beautiful. All right, that was fun.
That was great. I'm really getting jazzed here. I'm getting jazzed.
You're
and
getting
it's
jazzed.
it's not unlike you said. Your boy Thelonio. This is, how did you describe the pizza process and all the different kind of improv nature? You guys getting busy over there, huh?
We're getting busy.
Jeez Louise. I need some slices, man. I need some breakfast slices here. Had me up early. Jeez Louise. But it's like we were saying in some of the classes that we've talked about before, the improv nature of this pizza, the ability to be able to evolve and grow. Don't be so stuck in this is the only way to get things done. Don't be so stuck, right? Don't be afraid to think outside your little square. Don't be afraid to think outside your box. Josh Hernandez. My goodness. Are you a sight for sore eyes, Josh? Holy moly. Look at this guy. Put him up in the wilds of Portland, Oregon. Comes a cowboy. Hey, how you doing?
Time, sir.
Too long, my friend. Too long. Oh.
I don't think the Wi-Fi works too well on the patio. We'll have to We'll have to ask Josh to come back in. This guy, he was going to give us a tour of the patio, the parking lot.
Oh, man.
I mean,
the northwestern corner of the state.
We can hear you now, but we can't see you, Chef Josh.
I think that was my bad. Yep, there he is.
You're back. Good. How are you, sir?
Greetings.
Greetings.
Sorry, I got my head. I apologize for zooming.
So, Josh, you look good, but you don't sound so good. So we got to figure that out. Your sound is intermittent. I wonder if there's a quiet place that you can go. that's not outside. We're in a very small slice shop, and so it's already getting busy. So Josh is looking. He's going from the front counter to the. I think he's going into the kitchen to find some peace and serenity. Hallway. He's going into the hallway. All right, Josh, you let me know when you find that perfect spot, and we'll start having a conversation. Maybe you can, Justin. Is there a way to highlight both me and Josh at the same time? So
Yeah,
So if we have it, there we go.
there we go. I'm gonna let you guys chit.
Beautiful.
Better?
Better.
Good.
All right there. Well, what is going on here? Last I saw you, you were living in Hollywood. I mean, living the dream life, and then you took a crazy job up in the Seattle area, some place called Orcas, which may or may not be named after the whales, and then you disappeared for a while, and then you resurfaced, and you're like, I'm thinking about opening a pizzeria. I'm like, do it. He's like, can I get King Arthur Flour up here? I don't know. Let me put you in touch with Jeff, and then should I buy this Marsal oven? Somebody did some crazy aftermarket stuff. I'm like, I don't know. And then you pulled the plug on that, and then you found the location, and then here I am. So take us back. What the heck is going on?
It's been a wild ride. So as some of you may know, I was doing consulting work for Noel and with Noel, and some of that work brought me here. I was supposed to come here for 10 days to help sort out their sourdough, this restaurant that was trying to open. Fell in love, said, do you guys need a chef? They said yes. And I never went home. So I ran that restaurant. It was like a very traditional Roman concept, all house-made pasta. House-made pasta, house-cured meats, all the stuff, sourdough. That restaurant ended up selling after about a year. So I was kind of out on my butt, had to figure out how to stay on the island, which I really wanted to do. And it turned out opening my own thing was the way to do it. So there were a couple of iterations, but I landed on Slice Shop, and that seems to be the lightning in the bottle for here.
So when you say Slice Shop, what do you mean?
So New York style 18-inch pies. We've got 7 flavors available by the slice, with an additional 4 that you can get as whole pizzas. And yeah, it's very simple. We've got pre-made salads, and not much more. Just keeping it simple, sticking to the basics. This shop is kind of my background is in fine dining, fancy restaurants. This shop is my return to just nostalgic childhood memories. You know, we're doing instant yeast, 2-day fermentation, nothing crazy. I spent my whole career doing sourdough and natural fermentation, and I asked myself what takes me home, and that's yeasted pizza. It's what I grew up with. So that's what we're doing. And I think that our dough is honestly, it's a situation where it's kind of greater than the sum of its parts, because we're just managing fermentation microscopic. And yeah, and the thing that all of the feedback between the locals and the tourists from Seattle and Portland and everywhere, the first thing everybody talks about is the crust. And everybody's convinced that I'm using 100-year starter and insane boutique flour, and I'm not using King Arthur special patent, staff, instant dry yeast, and we're just managing fermentation. And that's
So I have a few questions, of course, and these are, I don't even know the answers to these. So, all right, so you've got a basically a New York style pizza, super nostalgic, right? Nothing out of the box really, stuff that everybody uses, but you've got your own special technique. Let's talk about the oven, right? So a lot of people cook pizzas at 500 degrees. Some people cook pizzas at 600 degrees. Joey at Folks even cooks his pizza in the same oven as you, or Marcel. He strives for 650. What temperature do you cook at?
550.
550. Now, why is 550 so special, and why does it work so well for you?
It's just in testing, that's the temperature that made the pizza that I liked the most, that everybody else liked the most.
Good. And if you had to say, what's your bake time?
8 to 9 minutes.
That's a pretty long bake.
8 to 9 minutes. Depending. So if I'm doing a pizza for slices, it's going to be closer to 7 to 8 minutes because there's going to be a reheat. But overall, counting the reheat, which happens the reheat happens at like 425.
So you've got two decks. So you've got your main oven at 500, and you've got your reheats at 425.
I've actually got a separate oven for reheats that's out front.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, 425, and then my two decks for the main oven are at 550.
Now, what kind of oven are you? Have like a mini Marsal or something in the front? I didn't even notice it yesterday.
No, it's so this restaurant, it was a coffee shop that I bought, and they had a little convection oven that I inherited, and I put a couple of stones in it, for a pizza stone, and did some testing, figured out that it would work reheating the slices at 425 on the decks.
Incredible.
Stones, yep.
So what do you get at 425 for a couple of minutes? What are the final results that you're looking for?
So we're looking for, basically, I want color on the bottom. I want as little tip sag as possible. The crew is trained, basically look for, once the cheese starts bubbling, start checking the bottom. And that's it.
Beautiful.
Very, very, very simple, very straightforward.
I gotta say, I had dinner here last night. I honestly didn't know what to expect. I've never been to this town before. I think we parked next door. We passed your shop, but I didn't even know where it was because I was sitting in the back seat of a van. I'm traveling with a bunch of triathletes, and I see a line. All I see is a line, and then I saw your logo, and then I'm like, this must be the place. So we parked in the parking lot. We came around the corner. There was an upright piano in the parking lot that people were playing, and I said to myself again, this must be the place.
Yes.
And we came in, and the place was absolutely bustling, right? The slice counter was on fire, right? The vibe is like super low key. The doors are wide open. There's lots of beautiful air and happy people enjoying pizzas. There's a beautiful mural behind me, which maybe when we do our little tour, you can give us a tour of the kitchen and tell us about the mural and a little bit about the neighborhood. But I got to say, Josh, I didn't know what to expect. I knew it would be good. And we've been talking a lot, and you've been telling me how the sales are through the roof. But I think it's incredible what you pulled off, because there's nothing here. There's like an old oven, right? There's a couple of wood tables. There's a decent amount of refrigeration, but not much. It's a big open space with high ceilings, minimal lighting, minimal decor. Just like you just got, like, what do you got? An old Hobart back there for mixing, 60 quart?
From Frank.
Oh, from Frank and Surf is awesome. I mean, the thing is, what's so impressive is that so many people try to open shops like this, and they spend so much money on design and architecture and furnishing and remodeling and permits and you name it, signage, and then when they get down to it, they make cuts, right, at for the most important things: their oven, their mixer, their kitchen, their staff. You didn't do any of that. You have exactly what you need and nothing more, right?
Yeah, so not get much into the mud and murk in terms of details, but I ran basically 2 simulations. One was completely redoing the space, hiring designers, signage, all the stuff. And I ran another one, which was let's get open as quickly as possible, and just with what we need. And it turned out that the difference between the 2 simulations was about $500,000 in 6 months. And
say it again. You cut
important
out.
To me, we just opened in March. Can you hear me?
Yeah, something about the you cut out in your last sentence. Something about before you said we opened in March. I think you said how much you saved.
Yeah, saved again by taking the second route.
You saved about $500,000 by taking the second route. Yep.
Which was just, let's slap some paint up. Without the mural, we opened without a bunch of the design elements. We opened without a sign, even. I didn't have a sign until like 2 months after we opened. Awesome. But it was important to me to get in March, is off season, so that we could have time to hire and train and get to know the community before tourists flooded us. And that paid off in dividends.
Beautiful.
All of the tourists that we're not coming in summer, we're not standing in. Out, they've all become regular, and they all stand in. Just because, we made a good impression. So it's very expensive to eat on the island. This is the only place that you have lunch and a drink for $10 with a tip. The only place on the island, including the grocery store.
Really?
And that was also a priority to me.
Wow. So what does the slice set you back here?
Hamburger cost 20. What that?
Wow. How much does a slice cost at your pizzeria?
Every slice is $6.
All right, so $6. That's pretty good. So a slice and a drink under $10.
Yep. And they're big slices. They're 18. So most people.
So it's an 18-inch pizza cut into 6 slices instead of 8. So you're getting 50% more or 33% more than in a normal New York slice.
Yes.
I like it. Yep. All right. So I have a question for you. We've got about 10 minutes left in this Zoom. 2 questions, actually. Do you have time for a quick tour of the kitchen and the pizzeria?
Yes.
And then my second question is, there are some audio-visual issues that we're experiencing with Zoom. So are you using Wi-Fi right now, or are you using your local network?
I'm on Wi-Fi.
All right, so here's what I'm going to do. Your Wi-Fi signal was strong last night. I'm going to turn off my video so that I'm not using too much of the Wi-Fi, and we'll see if we can continue the rest of this Zoom call, giving you a little more bandwidth, and we'll see if you can exit the hallway and go back into the kitchen and dining room with enough bandwidth so that we get audio and video, right? So last thing, maybe when you turn your phone around, you can go horizontally and we can get a little bit better view of the kitchen and dining room and all that good stuff. All right. All you, Joshy. All right, let's do this. Oh, there I am. Hi, Joshy.
Howdy.
You've got me.
Are your phones connected to your phone or your computer?
My computer.
Okay. So should I?
Yeah. So I might, if we lose the audio, I might have to narrate.
Okay. Sounds good.
So right now, Josh is heading outside to the patio, which is beautiful. It's a really incredible community and neighborhood. It's really clean, really clean. It rained for probably 6 or 8 hours yesterday, so it smells really good. People are excited because it's not going to rain this weekend. Everybody's out and about shopping and eating and just like communing. I think there's about 500 people that are coming to town for a big race on Sunday. So there's a lot of people that are staying in Airbnbs and VRBOs. Wow. So Josh is showing us the slice counter there, which looks beautiful. What I really love about these pizzas, besides the fact that they're cut into 6 pieces instead of 8, so you get a big ass slice, is that he's getting some really, really good performance on his pizza. And by that I mean he's got like really light and airy pizza. The bottom is crunchy and crispy. The top is crispy, and it's got like a multitude of colors. He's showing you his beer selection here, really nice. I had a beautiful local IPA yesterday. Yeah, so he's got just 2 grab and go refrigerators for the diners, and we just looked at a 3-door reach and for all of his dough. There's not a lot of dough storage. Looks like he's got his soft serve machine. We had some delicious soft serve last night. I think he's got 2 flavors going, maybe 3. So I'm pretty sure he's doing this in house. It was really delicious, really delicious. So nice job on the super simple menu. We had a really nice garden salad, 2 of them actually. So we're looking at the. Hopefully, Josh, you'll be able to give us. You'll be able to come back and give us a tour of the mural, because he hired a local artist from Seattle to create that. So those are his. I guess those are drawings from some of the locals. I can't tell if it's kids or adults that made those, but yesterday when I was here, Josh was hanging out with a couple of 6 and 7-year-old girls that were regulars. So they were dancing and drawing and eating pizza, and their parents were inside enjoying a little beer and a pizza. So Josh is seemingly a lot more than a pizza maker here in this city. He's he's saying no, don't stop. He's an ambassador and maybe the next mayor. They have a crazy practice in this town where apparently they elect people's dogs as mayors, which I don't know. I mean, I don't have a dog, and I'm not really I mean, I love dogs, but I don't have one. But I've had a bunch of dogs in my life. I've had some dumb dogs and some smart dogs. I had 2 Doberman Pinschers, and they were really smart, but I don't know if I would trust them to run a town. So I think we're looking at some ranch right here. It looks like I had some delicious ranch. So they make their ranch from scratch. So we're looking at their kitchen. We're looking at their old Marsal ovens, which are really, really beautiful. It's a super basic kitchen. It's not very big. They do a lot with it. That looks like Jeb right there. He's their lead pizza guy. Hello, Jeb. How are you? I don't know if he can hear me. Looks like he's cleaning up some semolina.
I can kind of hear you. I'm doing great.
What are you scraping off there? Is that semolina?
What's that?
Is that semolina you're scraping off the counter there?
Yeah.
50-50 semolina and flour.
Beautiful, 50-50 mix, and that's what coats the pizza. Can we have a look inside the oven? Josh, if you can hear me, it's empty. How many 18-inch pizzas can you put on that deck at one time?
6.
6 pizzas. Wow. And that's when you cook them for 7 to 9 minutes?
We can, yeah.
Got it. Beautiful. You got the 3-compartment sink at the health department. You got a prep sink right there. Got some pots and pans. I don't know. I didn't even see a stove. I don't know why he's got pots or pans. See some sheet pans there, some dough boxes. He's coming around. I think I see a chinois. I think I see an old Hobart. All right, Josh. Hey, do me a favor. Can we have a look at the mural? Maybe if you have a minute. Oh, showing me that Hobart. 60 quart all the way, baby. Looking good. That looks like an old Hobart that you gave a nice little spit shine to there. Raising up the bowl. Hand crank, no electric lift there, buddy. Is your right arm stronger than your left arm, Josh, from all that? Yep, from all that hand cranking? It is. Ah, the thing of beauty. Thing of beauty. A nice old planetary mixer. Oh, there's this timer. Everybody needs a timer, right? Those old guys don't come with timers, do they? What's that, Josh? Oh, it's a thermometer. Ah, nice. So I see 88 and 33. There's a lot. There's a timer and a thermometer there. Interesting. So Josh, let me ask you a question. What is your desired dough temperature?
72 Fahrenheit.
72 Fahrenheit. Good answer.
Year round.
Now oh my God. So is Orcas Island, is your dining room and kitchen pretty much the same temperature year round?
No.
What's the range?
So in the middle of summer, the dining room was low 80s and the kitchen was low 100s.
Got it.
101, 102.
Got it.
So we started refrigerating the flour because we can't get the water cold enough.
Got it. All right, so we're gonna try something here because the sound is intermittent. Hey, Justin, if you can help us, here's what we're gonna do. If you can spotlight Josh's camera, I'm gonna give him my headphones. He's gonna sit down in my chair, and so we'll use my sound and his video. And I want him to give us a quick little tour or virtual tour of the panorama, the mural behind me. So let's see if we can pull this off. Josh, why don't you come over here? You might have to take off that 10-gallon hat to put my headphones on.
Everyone stand by. Here we go.
Justin.
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Good.
Your spot looks great. Looks like a cream dream.
Thank you.
Yeah, dude. Created your own little Pepperland right there. I love it.
It's going well. So far, so good.
Yeah, I love it. Kiss, right? Keep it simple. Let's do this.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
So
Focus
this
on
is
the doughs. Yeah, let's see. Flip it
Noel
around
wants-
so we can see the mural, please.
So this was done by an artist named Stevie Chow, and she's from Seattle. And what's kind of cool about this is that every element either reflects where we are or who I am. So you've got stuff that's like related to the island, raindrops, trillium, mountains, and then there's stuff that's related to me, which is like the camera, because I like to take pictures and I like to camp and
The cats.
hike, and that's Olive and Juniper, my two cats, whose names are written on the canoe.
Oh,
Campfires, just, you know, a crab, because I'm a Cancer.
mhm.
And it was really cool to work with her because she really personalized it, and I think it came out really nicely.
It looks great, buddy. It looks great. Well, how do you spell that name?
Stevie Chow.
Because I wanna see if I can get that Instagram. Stevie. Great. Okay. I'm gonna there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and put that Instagram handle in the old chat here, everybody.
Yes. So her Instagram is Set Frey.
Yep. I just got it.
There you go.
it.
Perfect.
So awesome. Awesome. Well, I will often ask Noel what you had been up to, but it seems like that answer has been it is no longer a mystery, my friend.
I have been a busy bee.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. What I was just thinking is that what you've really created is I feel like you've really created a spot that I feel like we always talked about it. Just bringing people together. right?
Yeah.
You know, pizza is, and didn't we always say it's more than just about feeding yourself? It's you know, it's about feeding your soul. And you said something that I find is very interesting. We often talked about the old pizza cognition theory, right? And trying to find that pizza that feeds the nostalgia,
Yes.
right? And it seems like you've been able to recreate that. And what I love is that not only did you recreate it, but now you're sharing it with other people. And it's like I say, you know, it's definitely resonating at that pizza frequency. It's about breaking bread with people that you care about. And so
100%.
being a valuable part of a great community and providing them great pizza and breaking bread. And then you got, you know, you got the ladybugs on the wall from all the kids to prove it. So hopefully you're inspiring a generation of pizza eaters and pizza lovers. And hopefully what's great about it is you're getting the chance to instill those memories in them. You know, you're
And we're
starting them on their own journey of the pizza cognition.
and we're
So
having fun.
yeah, yeah, the most important thing. The
Yeah,
most
we're
important.
having fun. And I've been running restaurants for a really long time. This was an experiment where I didn't hire kitchen people. I hired interesting people
Yeah,
and taught them how to make pizza.
it's great.
And the results have been, it's the best crew I've ever had.
Yeah, I mean, the pizza looks great. The place looks great. I love just, you know, like, let's make it about that. It doesn't have to be like Noel was saying, the signage and the this or the that. Let's create a place where we can basically share with other people. You know, I really love it. Hey, hi, hey,
Hi.
hey, hey.
Hey, you're famous.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm going to have to plan a trip sometime to come up and visit my brother.
Please do.
So you were saying, just can I ask you a couple of questions? Because you were talking about, I was taking some notes. You were saying it's an IDY 2-day. You're cooking at 550, and the bake's 8 or 9 minutes, depending on, or 7 minutes if you're doing the reheats.
Yep.
Can I ask you, what is your hydration? Because 8 or 9 minutes is pretty long. So, and we're saying it's pretty light and crispy. So, are you upping the hydration up there a little bit?
67.
Okay, great. Good, good, good.
Yep.
Good, good, good.
67.
And you're finding that great balance up there. Well,
Which is high, which is high for New York style.
Yeah.
But the thing that I always say, and that Noel and I always talked about in consulting stuff, is that you have to tailor your formula to your oven and your conditions.
We always say it's variables in the pizza equation, right? I mean, that's
100%.
exactly what it is. You got to
100%.
figure out the tools that you have, how you want to get there, and that's going to dictate a lot of different things, right? The
Yep.
dough is going to dictate the variables in the pizza equation. So
Yep.
are you thinking, because I feel like at one point you had moved up there and you were doing some Detroit work and higher hydration stuff. Are you thinking of at some point maybe expanding into some of that, or you're just focusing on this New York and the slices right now?
I think we're going to stick to New York.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's almost folly. A lot of people, a lot of pizzerias that I want New York and I want Roman, or I want New York and I want Detroit, or I want Grandma and I want Neapolitan. I think just pick one, execute it perfectly.
There you go.
That's it.
Keep it simple, stupid, right? The KISS method. KISS method. So awesome, bud. Well,
Hold
thank
on.
you
I've
so
got
much.
something to show you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Perfect. He's a cowboy. He's a cowboy.
Nice hat, right?
Yeah. Looking
Just
really
Edson.
good. Looking really good.
Picking up from my hat.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, well, why don't we hand the old microphone back over to Noel? Thank you so much. Your place is awesome. I
Thank
really
you.
love what you're doing, dude. It looks great. Those dough balls look great. The mural looks great. It's
Thank
telling
you.
a story. You're providing wonderful things in the community. You're breaking bread with people, and you know, you're starting people, the children, on that wonderful thing of feeding that nostalgia tickle that really creates them that they can go on their their path to the, their own pizza path forward, if you will. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
So our socials were at Ladybug Pizza.
Okay, I'm gonna find it right now. Thank you so much. At Ladybug Pizza. Ladybug Pizza. There we go.
I'm gonna hand you over.
Yep, sounds great, bud. Always great
All
to
right.
see you, bud. Keep crushing,
see you.
okay?
Later, bud.
Following you right now. You got to send me some slices in the mail, would you?
You know I will.
All right, buddy.
All right. Bye.
Right. Here we go. All right, cowboy. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, it's just me. No, come back. Come back. Asking you to start your video. No, would you start your video? There he is. Man, look at that spot.
Sweet, right?
I'm just chewing on my slice of envy here in Venice. To have a nice little a little area that you've carved out in a wonderful little supportive quaint town that you're crushing it and doing something that you love and giving back to the community. And I don't know if you heard it, but I was talking to Josh about what he was saying is his using IDY 2-day New York style 550 67% hydrato. He's going that route because that was the pizza he grew up with, that pizza cognition, feeding that nostalgia. And what I really love about it is seeing all those ladybugs on the wall. He's starting that with the next generation. So, and I think that what we're going to be able to do with this healthy pizza initiative, with the Pizza Path Forward, is that we're going to start hopefully feeding some nostalgia to a whole new generation of people that care about what's coming next, care about the environment, and care about themselves. So it's not just about the scratch all the time. It's not just about shareholders and buybacks. It's about giving back because we're all in the same community. We're all in the same neighborhood. Who are the people in the neighborhood? It's us. It's us. And the more we can give back, I think the more fertile the regenerative ground will be, and we'll be getting more iron and nutrients and minerals and vitamins and stuff from the foods that we consume. So I'm really excited. Noel, this has been fantastic. You have anything to say? You want to take us home, and then I'll sign us out?
Absolutely. So I want to thank you, Justin, for Zooming with us on a busy Saturday. I know you've got a lot of things you could be doing, so it's awesome that you checked in. It's fun to be doing open houses again. It's fun to be getting back into the live Zoom game. I'm looking forward to our next 3 classes. So for people who want to sign up, we will be going live with the registration pages this week. I'm going to be on Orcas Island through Monday. So during that time, I'll be working on the descriptions of the classes and getting all the links to all of our collab partners and making sure we have discount codes on the pages. So later this week, I'll probably do an Instagram post and letting people know that the next 3 classes are live. And then 2 weeks from today, we're going to have King Arthur back again. And we're going to have Nancy Jaffe, our nutritionist and certified dietitian, on with us. And we're going to be going through some of the ingredients and why we're using certain ingredients. We're going to be talking about some of the themes we're going to be covering in each class. So we're going to be relaunching the format of beginning, intermediate, and advanced classes again with different recipes, different ingredients, also different kind of like ideas and ideals for like meal planning and prep and all the different conditions that people might be living under, financial, social, health related, and ways that people are looking to improve their health and well-being. So it's going to be a new journey for me, and it's going to be a new journey for you, hopefully. And for it'll be interesting to see how people receive it, because what I know from my own life is that a lot of people want what they see, but question is, are they willing to do the work, right? So I like to live as an example to other people when I can, and I like to draw from other people's successes and failures as well as my own to get to that next level. So I'm here supporting my wife this weekend in Orcas Island, and I'm here supporting my friend Josh. And it'll be fun to check out the island. I'm going to be walking around the town. Then I'm going to walk 6 miles home down to the south of the island where I'm staying. And everybody's like, "No, you can't walk 6 miles. Are you crazy?" And I'm like, "I walk 10 miles every day. What do you mean I can't walk 6 miles?" And they're like, "You could get killed." I'm like, who's gonna kill me? A tourist? There's no bears. There's no. I don't think there's any natural predators on the island. Now, if a bear,
Sasquatch, they got probably Sasquatch up
they
there.
probably got that. They probably got
Yeah.
that. I guess they got some big fish.
I think it's good to jump out of the water.
We saw porpoises off the coast of Seattle. So who knows what's going on?
Well, you know what I always say.
What do you always say?
All intents and porpoises.
Perfect.
And the tent I see behind you, so that's a nod to Josh, right? All
Yes.
intents and purposes. So camping and fishing. Well, that's pretty exciting. Well, I'm excited for what's
Thank
coming
you.
next.
It looks like I got to give up my table soon because every table is full, so it's no fair for me to be taking this up.
I understand. Well, go to ABZ. Let her swim and hike or run and cycle or whatever she's going to be doing to crush. Your 6 miles. Do you need a grabber and a bucket so you can be picking up garbage along the way? Buckets on Venice. We're doing that these days. We're giving back to the community. So, all right. Well, I'm going to take us home. Okay.
Thank you, Justin.
Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We're really excited about this phase 3 of what's coming next in this slow rise pizza conglomerate of things that we are doing. Seriously, people, it's about giving back to yourself, but in doing so, you can also be giving back to everyone else. We are all stewards of this ship here together. So let's think about that. Let's think about those different things that we can do. Let's put them into action. What I always like to say is that if you're going to squawk it, you better learn to walk it, because being a hypocrite is one of the worst things that you can be. So here at Slow Rise Pizza, we try our best to not get into the politics of pepperoni and pineapple, maybe an election year. Oh no, my friends, we say pizza always and always pizza. So pieces and slices, we'll see you in a few weeks. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Oh, look at that, the confetti. Hey, gonna do it again. Hey. Well, bye everybody, with love.